uh, somewhat of delay between Emil leaving and you guys getting here. Perhaps there's some time difference between traveling the material plane and the Feywild. After exiting the cave and finding this jade moss pass, you encountered a zombified owlbear with red veins coursing a vampiric mist uh, emitting from it as it was slain, and some awakened or some zombie trees that threatened to womp you good. After quickly dispatching them, you started to head down this moss path, following it for some time. The group, about maybe a couple hours, as you guys have probably trudged along this jade path for a good couple hours, and maybe a couple miles. And far off in the distance, I need, say, who's in the front of this small group?
Um, would have probably been Phalion, Magnus, and Emil.
Okay, so Emil, go ahead and make a perception. 6. Okay. Just enough. You notice way off in the distance, the this dead forest starts to liven up a bit. You see way off in the distance what looks like actual live trees. You can't really tell the exact distance, but it is. If you follow the path, you will find live things, forsaken.
Looks like the forest is livening up a bit ahead.
Alabaster will let out a sigh of relief as I can't take this place anymore.
Well, it's yet to see whether we can escape this place as in, I suppose, the Feywild, but at least we'll get out of the Blight, possibly.
She nods. She pipes up and says, maybe we should, kind of keep it on the down low. Maybe try to sneak a little bit so we don't encounter any more beasts and undead things. She looks towards you, Salem, for any confirmation.
Yeah.
She looks towards you, Emil. Okay.
Well, seems to be a good course of. Out of character, did I see, what's his name? Johannes looking for tracks in the ground? Because last time he saw the tracks. I don't know if any of us saw.
I don't remember, personally.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I don't remember if it wasn't, I mean, if it was probably out in the open. It wasn't like he was hiding it or anything, I don't think. Right, Johannes?
No.
So you probably saw it.
Perhaps those of you more keen about the wilderness should keep an eye out. Good talk, yes.
Alright, how about everybody roll stealth? I'll roll for Alabaster. I don't know why she's asking for stealth.
At least she's asking.
Great stealth roll.
16, 17, 14, 19, and 5!
Woo!
So instantly, as you guys kind of prep yourselves, you guys been doing this enough for be stealthy, and you all get kind of low to the ground, kind of stay closer to the trees that kind of intersect with this path, and you keep hearing behind you And you all collectively turn around, and Alabaster is trying her best to be on her tippy toes, and is single-handedly stepping on every single branch that could possibly be on this jade path. And she's like, "No, I can do this. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." You do realize that she's in like full plate armor. So I should roll at the actually I did roll it with disadvantage, and that is a 0. So take that for what you will.
You're doing fine, Al. Just
He's like, "Thank you." Shit. And you pretty much hear that for a good 30 minutes. A lot of you hear off in the distance a similar kind of woo, woo, coming from the owlbears way off in the distance. And a couple other like chittering and stuff like that, but nothing with. Luckily, you all were stealthy enough to save Alabaster.
Are we still in the blighted part of the wood?
Yes. It's gonna take you. It would take you about a couple hours to get to the steps of the finally wooded forest. With that, I want Uthra. Go ahead and roll me a perception check. Ay.
He sees.
Alright. Go ahead and roll another d20.
Another d20?
Correct. Okay. So, as you start to pass, on your left, you see what looks like smoldering, a grove of smoldering trees. They're not seeming to catch on fire too bad, even with this, pretty much dehydrated growth. It seems like there was, or actually, go ahead and roll a survival check. Okay. You find, looks like an owlbear set of tracks, and you also find what looks like knoll track.
Well, there's gnolls afoot. A kobold. I'm kidding.
They're kind of like dog people a little bit.
dog people.
Not so much a dog, like a
Hyena.
yeah, a hyena, a savannah wild dog.
Savannah dog.
Savannah.
Savannah doge.
Not something we.
Mm-hmm. Seems like they were fighting owlbears too, so. Yes.
All right. Correct. All right. So you travel another, we'll say another couple hours, and you're now finally seeing these trees as they start to get taller and taller in your view. You realize these trees are almost about 100 foot, up in the air. Long, long trunks that lead up and then flourish into nice green leafage. And you start getting into a very dense bit of this forest. We'll say that it's almost basically dim light at this point. So you enter the forest, and you start to, as soon as you get maybe, we'll say about 100 feet away from it, you start to hear the menagerie of sounds, and you occasionally see what look like fist-sized lightning bugs that occasionally light up a good 5 foot of this cave. You start to hear birds you've never heard before, very long and drawn out hoots, very sweet and melodic chirping from whatever birds are in these forests. You occasionally hear the cheeping of bats. Is there anything you guys would like to do?
I see any of these birds that look hard enough?
You're human, correct?
I can't see anything.
Well, no, you can roll perception with disadvantage, unfortunately, because they're pretty high up in the trees. It's pretty, the trunks are all the way. There's hardly any branches until it gets up to maybe about 80, 90 feet.
Oh, interesting.
So, if you want to look for them, you can. 16. You actually do. You almost see this rainbow-colored canary thing. Only the canary has like a long tail that goes off for a bit and then swirls. You also see a couple of bats that are a little bit bigger, not giant by any means, but small and tiny size that are just slurping on something. Looks like they're burrowing into the tree to get into the sap. So you all continue on for a bit. I need everybody to make a perception check.
I see dark. It's dark.
Same.
I like the dark.
So, Emil, you're kind of trapped in your kind of bubble. Salem, this is pretty. You look at one of these lightning bugs, and you just kind of have a weird face off with this bug that's kind of the size of your fist. Just buzzing low of wing patterns, and you just kind of have a stare off with this this creature.
You wanna fight, you cunt?
As soon as you say that, it just kind of flies off.
Oh, well, shit. I didn't mean it.
For the rest of you, Uthrak and Earl, or Johanna, you as this kind of a slow, gentle breeze, you hear almost like an elven flute, kind of being swept away in the current of the wind. It's very, very faint, but it has like a kind of wood flute playing in the distance.
You guys hear that?
You what?
Flute noises.
Sounds like an elven flute.
Seems like
It's awfully specific. Where's it coming from?
where's it coming from?
It seems to be coming pretty far in the direction of the path. So,
Further down the path.
Phalion said we should be cautious. I don't know how much you trust him, or his advice. He's very quiet right now. But maybe we should keep our distance until we know what it is.
Out of curiosity, does anyone know how to speak Elven?
I do.
Okay. Guess let's continue down the path more quietly.
Okay. We'll keep the same. We'll keep the same. Actually, one redeeming stealth check from Alabaster with disadvantage.
That's a sleight of hand.
Oh, I missed.
Again.
Hey!
Much better.
Close.
It's a 0.
Oh yeah, she takes the
Oh,
0.
with disadvantage, right?
Yeah, she has disadvantage because she's in heavy armor.
Right.
Same. So you're like, all right, let's be cautious, and
Gone.
same thing.
The pike curse.
The heavy on the curse.
Okay. So you keep heading down this path, and occasionally you actually hear like the yip of dogs. Johannes, go ahead and make a survival.
Yeet. Yeet.
Yeet.
You've never heard of a forest dog, but I bet they're pretty cute. They're probably 10,
Fuck is a
10
forest dog.
10 out of 10 would probably pet.
What the fuck are those?
What the fuck are those?
We heard the yipping too, right?
I would say if you want to, yes. But go ahead and you're probably, if you want to make it with disadvantage, you could do a survival check.
I have to do everything with disadvantage already.
That's true. So
Double disadvantage.
Oh,
Oh, Jesus.
17. Okay. We'll say it's not like you know the creature, but it.
they mentioned it was a dog creature, so
Yeah,
I'm drawing connections.
you're pretty sure that this might be it. They said dog creature, and you hear a dog. Something is afoot.
Or 4 feet.
You all mentioned something about dog people? I think we have
Knowles?
distant
Knowles.
company. Can I tell how far it is? Or is it just distant?
Distance-wise, it's pretty far inside the. Oh, good. Pretty far in the forest.
Okay.
Are you sure that's just not a forest dog?
I may not know many things, but a forest dog does not come to mind. I wouldn't rule out the possibility, but considering there are knoll tracks, or so I'm told, seems like there may be a knoll or some number of them out there. Better safe than sorry. You don't need to pet every dog you see.
Oh,
What?
I didn't know.
Here's
Okay.
the question, though. If we are going to sneak through this forest without being spotted, our dwarf companion's armor might have to be dealt with. The clanging is going to reach any ears.
So as you you say that, you just for some reason, like as a reflex, she just kind of puts her hands up like across, like no, don't do that.
Put her in the bag of holding.
Well, we could stagger our advance through this path. Say, put Alabaster and one other up front, have the rest follow, or the other way
As
around.
bait. But then if they attack, don't we have to defend them, or do we just leave?
Well, that would be up to you, but I would say defend them.
Then what's the purpose of splitting the party? If we're going to engage
Conceal our
anyways.
numbers.
Yeah.
I suppose so.
Bait. Bait.
It's an option.
A general never sends his army without a forward advance party.
Dibs on bin bait.
It's either bait or a dressing down, so she may choose or you may choose.
I mean, she could also take off her armor, but
That's what I suggested.
She kind of looks as like, I kind of need it to get in a fight.
And if she's carrying her armor, it won't be much less quiet than wearing it.
We have bags. I'm just saying, it's an option.
He kind of looks at you. He's like, I don't know. I don't really know you like that.
I don't know any of you.
That's
Well, you know
Well,
Salem like that.
half you do. You do, but like, he just shrugs.
Well, is that then bait option, or do we just go ahead as we are?
Yeah, just it's been a rough day. Just use me as bait. I'm sure. So Alabaster will kind of walk towards the front. And
Aggie boy.
11?
Huh?
Alright.
hello,
Hi.
Hello?
I'm
Shalom.
Dot. It is me. All right, so you guys continue on the path. And the yipping kind of gets a little bit closer, but you don't really encounter anything until finally, as you guys are kind of in this group, you hear a little, and you look at your feet, Emil, and you see this itty bitty, slender, kind of very short fur dog.
What?
Looks at you. It just kind of looks at you and has like the oh shit.
I stab her in the throat. Oh,
Is this a forest dog? What is this?
just stab it.
What?
Stab it.
Doing any such thing. Emil's gonna back up from it.
You're
Stab
gonna
it in the mouth.
you're gonna stab it.
No,
Yeah.
Emil's backing up.
I'm stabbing it in the
I have
mouth.
my rope ready.
Okay.
Like,
Uh,
down
so
the
you-
throat.
All right. Well, let's fucking roll initiative.
Wow.
Where's my icon?
Boy.
We'll just move that. We'll just recycle, reuse, reduce, recycle.
Yeet.
That's a lot to write name.
Do I even roll
Fuck.
initiative? I guess I did.
Go away.
You can.
Wait. Oh my god. The
Oh my
6.
god.
6.
Dang, you're killing it.
I'll be right with them.
That's the scene we got here. Just
So what does it look like? A normal dog?
the
Is it
ears
raggedy?
are kind of the ears are it's very ragged. It's definitely very been in the forest. It has more pointier ears and kind of a longer tail with almost like a lion little puff. But it seems to be a baby more than anything,
Oh,
or
it's
a pup.
a pup.
Well,
Does it seem to be doing anything? Is it scared of us, or is it just amicable?
well, let me get into initiative real quick. Okay. I'll do one. Okay. So you look at this dog and go ahead and make an insight check. 7. It gives you the like wide eye, like I shouldn't be here right now. I don't know what to do. It just doesn't look like it's like. It looks pretty frightened of all of you.
Huh.
I guess it's my turn. I'll hold. Are we in a turn order right now?
Yeah, Furniture, you're up.
Okay. I'll hold any action for any aggressive move.
Okay. It's gonna like its ears are back and it's kind of trying its best to growl, but this seems to be a very young puppy.
It seems friendly-ish. Seems harmless. And that'll be my turn.
Okay. Johannes.
Okay. I'm gonna have my rope out. Lasso form. I'm gonna walk up to the dog.
Okay.
Slowly. Try to reassure him that I'm not gonna hurt him, and I'm gonna try to grab him.
12. Okay. You're gonna try to grab him.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do. He's gonna use his athletics. You use your strength. We'll contest this. 15. 14. Okay. So, you try to go and grab him, and for a faint flicker, it's almost like he kind of is in your arms and then just is back on the ground, pushing himself away.
Wait, okay. As if he teleported away or jumped away?
Go ahead and make a survival check. It was very fast.
Not much better than I did last time.
Uh, it looked like he kind of was just very fast about his movement.
Okay. I suppose I could try again.
Yeah, go ahead with your extra attack. We'll allow it.
Okay. Oh, jeez. Oh,
Nope.
jeez.
Same thing. He just kind of wriggle and worms. He's with his kind of very short fur. It's very hard to kind of get a hold of him with this kind of slender, muscular body. It just kind of flops out, and that'll be the end of your turn. Alabaster is going to go up to the creature just slowly, same thing, and he's going to kneel down and just be like, "Hey, little buddy." Roll an animal handling. Nope, it's the wrong person.
Animal handling on the dog.
Yep. Oh, hot dang.
Jesus.
Okay. So the dog just kind of looks at her, and you can kind of see him, it, you don't really know its gender. His ears kind of come back up a little bit and just kind of looks at Alabaster and sits and just kind of is like, okay, I want to. You seem pretty nice, and we'll kind of inch closer to him, not too close. Next up will be Salem. What are you doing?
I guess I'm just holding until something fucking hostile happens. Like if that dog tries anything. I don't know.
Okay. Uthrock, what are you doing?
Probably go next to Alabaster and hold my action to grapple his mouth shut
Okay.
if he starts to howl.
All right. So the blink dog will kind of just look at you all, kind of licks Alabaster's hand, and he is going to. And okay, so as he's kind of doing all these, kind of rubbing up against him, kind of getting closer to you, Emil. It kind of gets to close to your shoes and just starts to give it a little sniff. We'll go over to your rope, Johannes, and gives it a little sniff. And once it's done, you hear two sets of kind of deeper yips and a howl, and this guy will teleport out of the way.
That's not good. You need to leave now.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Right. So that'll be the end of combat.
I think we're gonna clear out of there pretty quickly.
All right.
Before
Go
the
ahead.
parents come.
We don't have to be that worried. But we shouldn't stick around. We should go.
I'm glad you didn't stab it.
All right.
If we
all
stabbed it,
kinda-
then yeah, it would have been all over.
You all kind of pick up the pace a little, being very quiet as best as you can, but head deeper through this path. I need, we'll say, Alabaster and Emil make perception. You guys are in the front end. No, not bad. Whoa. 19. Okay. So, Alabaster quickly kind of juts her head to her left, and she kind of motions you all to get down. And she comes up to you, and I hear a different set of howls, and I hear people fighting off in the distance. And she points kind of farther off, and you too, when she points this out, notices you hear a sort of tuffle, almost like people laughing, a weird non-human laughing coming from a good maybe a mile away as it carries through this breeze. And you also hear clanging of what sounds like wood on metal and metal on wood and metal on metal.
Interesting.
Approach, stay away.
Cautious approach.
What are your thoughts? Cautiously approach it.
Yes.
What is the direction it's coming from? Was it in the forest or is it further along the path?
It's kind of further, it kind of diverts from the path a little bit. The path kind of starts curving to the right a little bit, and this is kind of almost directly, most likely, the opposite direction, left.
Should all of us be approaching that? Giving a very pointed look at the dwarf.
She's like, she just shrugs and is like, I don't know, I've never been here before. I don't know anything about the Feywild.
You know what I mean, though. If we approach, we will not be stealthy with all of us.
Oh, she's like, oh, I get it.
Well,
I mean, there could be people in trouble. From what I know of gnolls, they're pretty, nasty creatures.
I I guess it's worth checking out, but how many of us go to check it out, and how many of us stay, or do we all go?
Well, it seems like I'm the odd woman out here, and I'll just stay, and you guys can scout ahead if you'd like.
What do y'all think?
Don't think
I'll
we should
go.
leave Alabaster.
Uh,
Are you okay with that, family? Can you say bye, Alabaster?
Yeah. Whatever. Phalian just stares off into the distance, longingly.
that seems about right. Then, I guess we go see if there are any captives, or what is going on, actually.
Okay. So what's the is everybody leaving Alabaster with the supposed not people in the party?
I believe so. Magnus and Phalian, probably.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll say the people that are gone for today are left behind. So, are we doing a kind of a stealthy approach? What's the game plan?
Stealthy.
Definitely
Alright.
stealthy.
Go ahead, everybody, make me a stealth check.
I'm gonna break all the trees as I tramp through the forest because I'm
Do
feeling the stealth
do.
check.
Fuck.
Woo! I didn't fail it.
Okay, can I do something? Let's see here. If I cast invisibility at 4th level, how many people is that? One.
Doing a spell or anything like that, we'll say that since everybody else did fairly well, it doesn't count against you. You all, as a group, passed this check.
Okay. I'll hold the spell until we get closer, or if I need to.
Plus, you guys are in a pretty dense forest, so it's going to be pretty hard to see you unless you're like right up on them. But with that, you all kind of lower to the ground, but with some speed, start hitting off in the distance. And after maybe a good 60, 70 feet, you all start to hear the faint yipping and yells from, sounds like a couple males, more high-pitched male voices, like screaming in Elven, like, get off me. That's for Johanna. And you hear this yip, and you hear this weird laughing sound, and you instantly know that these are gnolls. Looks like gnolls have found some elves that are in the forest, possibly druids, possibly not, but it seems they have engaged these elves.
Are we close enough to see how many gnolls there are?
Not yet. The forest is unfortunately too dense. But you do get closer, and maybe a good maybe 300 feet. There's kind of a dip in the forest, and you see it kind of farther down, maybe about good 30 feet. And you see now the remnants of. How about Johannes, make a survival check?
God damn. I'm
Alright.
not doing great in the Feywild. This is weird.
Yeah, you've probably never been here before, but you do see the remnants of blood and some claw marks on the trees and other slashing marks. It seems you guys are at least going in the right direction.
Seems like we're going the right way.
Hmm.
They weren't here too long ago. I think we're following a chase.
Okay.
Right. So you continue on, and finally, after a while, maybe a good mile, you start to really hear the yipping, and you start hearing these elven voices. And on the way here, you did actually find a body of a gnoll, and then also a body of an elven woman. And this woman was actually kind of this light bluish hue color.
Oh.
I don't think anybody would know what this is.
I don't know anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, it would be a meal. but no.
You'd
Huh?
probably,
Not
yeah,
anymore.
Mule would probably be the closest thing, but unfortunately, I don't think any of you ventured into the Feywild. So, you continue on, and finally, after this kind of small clearing where the the forest kind of breaks a little bit, and you kind of see this almost pondish area of, and here a faint kind of river forest. You start to see a body look like a yellow fur.
You're laggy.
You're breaking up a
Johnny?
bit. Hold on.
Nani?
Tell me more. Am I better?
No.
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 Am I better?
No.
No.
Your egg rolls.
You're egg rolling.
Air girls.
Oh, oh, what is happening?
Oh. Oh.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Oh,
it's better.
You're better.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, oh, oh. Well,
Okay. You
this
stop.
is probably-
Well, you see, and then you kind of.
you see 6 bodies, with kind of a very pale yellow fur, netted fur with a longer snout, dog, that have armed with spears, pikes, and other sorts of weaponry against what looks like 3 almost village-esque elves as they're trying their best with some sort of a meal you see is like a firebolt, trying to stay these combatants away. And you can see the faces of these gnolls are just as happy as can be as they found such weak prey to just play with.
Also, the
Um,
elves are just not behind any sort of barrier. They're just sort of being harried by the gnolls.
Yeah, they're kind of being pushed. There's the river. They're kind of at the cusp of the river, and they kind of have to ford this river to get past.
Hmm. How far away are they?
They will be a bit about 80 feet. But unfortunately, I think that is a good place to stop, as I kind of want this encounter for everybody, and I
Okay.
didn't really want this to be a very long session because I don't want to get too far out everybody. So congrats on getting level 8. I kind of wanted to make it earlier when you guys got into the Feywild, but meh.
Yeah.
And we shall see what happens next week, or we could try to get somewhere in between. I haven't. Yeah, what is Brandon, what's your work schedule?
I'm good.
Alright.
I'm only working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Next week.
Okay, so we could aim for like Thursday or something. Is that what about you, Earl?
Yeah, I don't do anything ever.
I'm not even gonna ask egg rolls. I already know the answer.
That's right. Don't got a social. Oh.
Yeah, but we could like. I'm not sure what Blaile's been. I think, if I remember correctly, one of his family members passed away. I don't think it was like anybody close to him, but since he works the funeral home, whole business basically. Because I tried calling him, but he didn't return my calls. Probably. But for next time, who knows what will happen with your encounter with the baby Blink dog?
Kindness will be returned by kindness.
I'm so glad my HP's not triple digits. 125.
All right. Well, I'm going to head out. I got some other stuff to do.
Okay.
Okay,
Goodbye.
goodbye.
Tarzan.
Bye.